So today we're going to do a quick lunchtime manifesting Q&A because I've been getting way too many questions and I just haven't had the chance to answer everybody. So I'm going to answer some of the most common questions that I've been getting here on a quick lunchtime Q&A so you guys can join me while I eat. So I'm having a little bit of Panda Express today. For lunch, before I go back and get some more work done, I have client work, coaching calls to do, a couple ads I'm working on for myself and for clients. So fun stuff all around. I have some announcements around the group coaching program that I'm putting together. So if you're interested in that, I'll let you know. Hi, Nazazine. Hopefully I got your name right, bro. Welcome. So one of the questions that I got that I was answering a little bit earlier today was somebody brought up the question where I had mentioned that manifestations are not instant. And if manifestations are not instant, like creation isn't instant, doesn't that like contradict that creation is finished and all this other stuff? And I was like, actually, that's a really good question because it does get confusing. And part of the reason why that stuff is confusing is because we think that we're all using the same definitions for the words, but we're not. We're really not. Which is part of the reason why it's so difficult for people to understand what we mean. Because when you say something, not everybody understands what you mean. You think that everybody thinks you're referring to the same thing, but we're not. So when I refer to creation or instant manifestation, yes, manifestation is instant. But when we use the word manifestation, not everybody is referring to the same thing. When I or other people who study esoteric or spiritual works, when we refer to instant manifestations, we understand that anything that exists in the consciousness is a manifestation, which means if you create an imaginal act, like an imaginal image, you've manifested something. You've manifested something, especially if that image has created the feeling of the wish fulfilled inside of you. Because ultimately, the whole reason why you want anything in your life is because you believe that by having that thing, you will feel different. You wouldn't want the car if you didn't believe by having the car, you would feel different. Because then there would be no point to having the car. You want to have the car because you feel as though that you'd be excited, you'd feel luxurious, you'd feel proud of yourself, you feel like you'd be somebody, and then people would look at you in the car and they'd be like, oh my gosh, or it would fit. It would be something that would fit the what's up? It would be something that would fit the image that you want to portray. I was having a conversation yesterday with a client and he mentioned like, hey, I want to wear like really nice suits, like, but I need to have a nice car because it would look really weird if I'm hopping out of a nice car in a Tom Ford. I do look like Reggie Watts, yeah, especially with the hair on and everything. I'd look funny as hell hopping out of a Honda Civic with a Tom Ford suit at an event or a gala. So it's not gonna work. It's gonna be like incongruent. So the only way for it to be congruent is if I'm pulling up in a car that fits who I believe that I am and what I want other people to think of me. Like as a business owner, if you want to be somebody successful and you want to be seen as somebody successful, your car, your house, how you dress should be in alignment with that. So that was one of the things that we were discussing and talking about. And I was like, okay, then that's a reason for him to want to manifest having the nice outfit and having the nice car too. Now, when we refer to instant manifestation, what we're referring to is not the actual physical thing that shows up in the world outside of us, but what we're referring to is the feeling. If you create the feeling that you would have sitting inside of that car, where most people be like, oh, I feel like $1 million. If you actually really did truly feel like $1 million, what's up, Sheev? Or Steve? Sheev or Steve? Sheev? What's up, Sheev? If you truly felt like $1 million and you thought from the space where it's like, I really truly feel like I am this kind of person, that I feel like $1 million and that these people see me like that, by feeling that feeling, you've had instant manifestation. You don't need to wait for anything to change in your external world to create of having the things. And if you only care about feeling that feeling, what happens is all the stuff that you desire will manifest, especially if you're imagining the images for it. I'm from Florida, so I'm in the United States. If you focus on the feeling and you create that feeling, the world around you will shift and change to conform to how you're feeling and what you're thinking. And it's funny because that's ultimately what everybody already understands and knows. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Everybody fundamentally knows this. That's the reason why business owners plan. That's why there are projections. I'm in Bihar. Oh, Bihar. Must be nice. What time is it over there right now? It's probably, later in the day? Probably like super late in the day, especially if you're all the way over there. On the other half of the planet. Lost my train of thought. The only reason why we want to manifest things is because we ultimately want to create the feeling. If you do not allow your feelings to be dictated by the world outside of you, you have the ability to change the world outside. And that's fundamentally what business owners do, because business owners, if they looked at the way things were, no business would ever grow, because they would only see the number of customers that they currently have. They would only see the money that they currently have in their bank accounts. And they would never get new customers, because to get new customers, you have to believe that there are people that exist that haven't heard about your business yet, that have money in their bank accounts, that want to do business with you. So you have to believe that your business bank accounts can have more money than is in your current experience right then and there. And that's normal for people to understand. But when it comes to like the average person, when you explain that to people, it's like, oh, that's fanciful. Oh, that's woo woo. Oh, this is manifestation is out there. It's like, no, it's fundamentally what everybody does. It's just nobody talks about it. Oh, trying to talk in Hindi. I don't know Hindi. Sorry, man. Maybe my stuff will be translated into Hindi in the actual transcript, but I don't know Hindi, so I can't speak Hindi, man. So if you create the feeling of having the thing, it's only a matter of time before the actual physical thing shows up. So the person who was asking the question about instant manifestation, when we say that manifestation is instant, what we mean is you can instantly create the feeling within yourself. And once you've created a feeling inside of yourself and you've practiced it until it becomes a habit in the physical body, what you've quite literally done is change the structure of the universe through your thought. I don't understand why people don't consider the human body to be part of the universe, even though it's in the universe and made of the universe. If you think a thought again and again and again and again and again, you change the structure of your nervous system in your brain. Your thoughts quite literally change the structure of the entire universe, just localized within your body. So people who think that thought doesn't change the universe, I always find that very strange, and they probably really haven't thought about thinking that much. Because if you think about it, it's like, oh, that actually does make sense. My thoughts actually do influence physical matter. It does. My thoughts actually really truly do create physical matter. If you think a thought enough times. Hey, Carla from Canada. I got another, actually my client I was talking to yesterday, one of my coaching clients for manifestation and for business. He's based out of Canada. I have a couple people, some in Canada, another client all the way in Ireland, another one in California. Had sessions with people all the way in like Germany, Japan last week. What's up? What's up, Olga? What's up, Daniel? What's up, Kevin? If you guys are watching this. Hi. Hi, Beam Young. Happy to see you on the live. I'm glad to have you here. Where was I? Your thoughts quite literally Not even in like a, oh, woo woo kind of, no, like scientifically, your thoughts actually affect the construction of the physical universe. Every single thought that happens inside of your mind changes the structure of the physical universe because it changes the structure of your nervous system, which is quite literally part of the universe. So you're literally thinking new structures, new designs, new geometry into existence in the universe through your thought and your imagination. And that's cool as hell. I don't know why more people don't talk about that. That's cool as hell. If you have any questions, you could put them in the comments and I'll answer any of your questions, because this is supposed to be a Q&A. So if you have any questions related to anything in terms of manifestation, whether it's doubt, if you have any questions about Neville Goddard, about any of his practices, any of his stories, Abraham Hicks, The Secret, any of that kind of stuff, the law of attraction, law of assumption, law of detachment, whatever law, ask a question. I'll answer for you. After all the time that I spent studying, I might as well help people make sense of all this stuff, because it's a lot to really go through. So once you understand and fully realize that your thoughts quite literally change the structure of the universe, even if in miniature, everything that happens in miniature also happens in the bigger structure. Your thoughts affect the structure of your physical body, so it affects the structure of the physical universe. And anything that you are impressing in the causal reality, which is what the imagination is supposed to be called, especially in occult circles, it's known as the causal reality, because it is the place from which cause flows. If you create the impression of an image in the formless substance through your imagination, or through the facility of what we call the imagination, if you do that, the universe will tend, I don't want to say the universe, the physical world around you tends to move in accordance with the imagined reality that you create. There are tons of different speakers, from William Blake to Socrates to Ralph Waldo Emerson, who all talk about the fact that the physical world is a shadow of the imaginary world, of the thought world. And by thinking, we create the world around us. And also the world within us. So for anything to manifest in the physical world outside of you, you can't go searching for it. You have to create it in your own consciousness and exist in it and live in that space long enough for the patterns to build up in your body, so that it's strong enough to magnetically pull that experience to you. You're basically giving light the form and structure of what you want your daily life to look like. Ooh, okay, here we go. We got some questions. Oh, Sasha, yeah, I did see that you booked a session, so hey, you get a little extra now. Okay, so let me answer Beamion's question, and then I will answer yours, Sarah. All right, so I want to ask you, I've read people saying that all techniques are just supposed to put you in the state, that they don't mean anything unless you decide they do. What's your take on this? Well, that fits exactly what I'm talking about right now. None of the techniques actually matter. The only thing that matters is how you feel and what you're doing with your consciousness. Because all the techniques are ultimately tools and permission slips for you to think differently, for you to imagine differently, and for you to speak and act in the physical world differently than you did before. All of the techniques, whether they're you going to a Catholic church and then standing up and down in the pews and eating the body of Christ, or you're going to a Hindu festival like Holi or anything else like that. The whole point of any of these things is that these are just technologies and techniques to change your consciousness. That's it. That's all they do. The only power that they have is the power to affect the way that you think and the way that you feel inside of your body. The reason why confession works and any of those processes work, or the love letter method or the law of attachment, the whole reason why any of those things work is that they're just permission slips for you to change how you think and feel. Because the way that you think and feel, whatever exists in your consciousness, which is like your imagination, whatever you imagine, like whatever you see without your own eyes, which would be your imagination, whatever you hear without ears, which would be the words that you speak inside of your mind, whatever you feel without being touched, which is using your spiritual sense of touch, manifests in the physical space around you. The only problem that people have is that they are not conscious of what they're consuming or what they're thinking and impressing. So when stuff shows back up, they don't recognize it. So it's like, but if you actually, it's like a script. If you go back in the script and you took, like, let's say a person's, like, all of the TV shows that the person watched, all the songs that they watched, and every single short or YouTube video that they watch, and you strung them together, if you looked back far enough, you would recognize, oh, these things, oh, hey, this thing that showed up in your life, that was a reflection of you feeling like this and you thinking that. And it only makes sense in hindsight if you're really conscious and remember what you're consuming, what you're thinking. That's why mental diet is so important, and why a lot of like major Abrahamic religions or other religions refuse to consume popular media. Like for Jewish people and for Muslim people, a part of what they're taught is to not consume the, like, popular media from the world. And for Islam, it goes as far as, like, you're not supposed to listen to music. And if you listen to Islamic scholars, the reason why they say you're not supposed to listen to music is because music controls your emotions. It controls how you feel. It can create feelings inside of you. And the fact that you're feeling a particular way, they can use the lyrics and the information to implant ideas and thoughts into your mind, which is quite literally brainwashing. You're brainwashing yourself to think that stuff. And for some strange reason, people don't believe what they think will lead to the reality in the world around them. It's just like, of course I can consume this and not change my life. That's a lie. It's not how that works. It's not how any of this works. But if you're somebody who's a conscious creator, you're going to be conscious in the things that you consume, and you're going to be conscious in the techniques by making sure that the things that you think about and the things that you imagine are in alignment with the ideal reality that you want to create. You lead the reality by first leading your imagination. Lead with your imagination, the physical world around you will follow. So that's my thing on any techniques. Doesn't matter what technique you use, although certain ones I would not recommend for various reasons, but most techniques are pretty good, especially if they're just about you changing the way that you think and you feel. And ultimately, you use whatever technique that works for you. If it changes how you feel, use that technique. If it doesn't, leave it alone. Don't use it. Hey, Katrina, I'm gonna answer everybody else's questions. Okay, so Sasha, you schedule a session. How do you deal with intrusive negative thoughts when you're trying to manifest what you like an SP? All right, the way that you deal with intrusive negative thoughts is understand the core of where that's coming from. Intrusive negative thoughts are usually patterns. Well, actually, intrusive negative thoughts are a good thing, because intrusive negative thoughts let you know that you are unconsciously competent, or you have a powerful habit of thinking in this way, which means that your systems, your body and your mind are working the way that they should. When people talk about intrusive thoughts, what they're actually talking about is a thought. It's a thought that you think without putting much physical energy into it. Like, immediately you're just doing something and then the thought just fires. It's very similar to like driving a car. Right now I'm sitting in a car in a parking lot eating lunch, talking to you guys. But not too long ago, and a little bit after this, I'm going to go on a drive. If you drive, then you've probably experienced driving and thinking about a whole bunch of different issues, a bunch of different problems, and being able to drive home, and you get home and you have no memory of driving home. Hi, hey Olga, what's up? There's another Olga. Welcome, hey, from Poland. When you drive, your conscious mind is focused on any of your problems. Maybe you're singing songs, maybe you're listening to an audiobook, or you're thinking about work that you have to do, or a personal problem, or something else that's coming up. And that's where most of your thought process is. It's like focused on just that. But you don't realize that you've been driving the car the entire time. And you get home and you're like, wait, how did what turns did I make? What did I just do? And the reason why you can't recall it is because your unconscious mind did the work. You built the pattern into the body where the body does not need the conscious mind's attention to do the activity or to think the thought or to do the thing. Therefore, you don't have to have conscious thought for any of that stuff. And that's how the body's supposed to work. When we talk about learning is not the ability to just have something and then immediately repeat it back. The true form of learning is mastery, where you don't have to think about the thing, you just do it automatically. And that's what happens with masters. Masters are masters of the fundamentals, which means that they do the fundamentals all the time. So just like somebody driving a car, they don't need to think about the fundamentals. They do them naturally so they can think at a higher level and have different thoughts going on in their head while their body just does the actions that it's supposed to do. This is the same function of mastery and habit that's happening when somebody's dealing with intrusive thoughts. You are just unconsciously competent at thinking these kinds of thoughts, at thinking these negative thoughts, which means great. You know how to be unconsciously competent. All we need to do is not stop you from having intrusive thoughts. We just need you to have positive intrusive thoughts. We just need to change the quality of the intrusive thoughts. And to do this does require conscious effort. You must consciously begin the process of thinking differently and feeding yourself different thoughts. And through the act of consistently feeding yourself different thoughts and having more control over the voice inside of your head, you're able to build up the mental pathways in your brain, the bunks, to build a habit where your thought process just thinks that thing automatically. And in the beginning, it's going to feel a little bit awkward because these are new thoughts. It's going to take time, kind of like learning how to tie your shoes. You're not going to have it perfectly in the beginning, but through the act of consciously thinking about it again and again and doing it repeatedly again and again and again, what happens is you build the pattern inside of your body in what people refer to as the unconscious mind. To make things simple, I usually just say the unconscious mind is everything below the neck. Because the conscious mind would refer to like the facilities of the mouth, your eyes, the stuff that goes on inside of the head. Unconscious mind is everything that doesn't require the conscious attention of the head. So if you want to be unconsciously competent at positive thoughts, you have to go through the process of practicing good thoughts. And the best rituals to practice good thoughts, like positive thoughts, are affirmations, listening to subliminals, reading books. Reading books is probably one of the biggest brainwashing techniques that people can do to like fix their brains. Reading books, listening to audios, and then not just listening to them once or reading them once, but listening to them again and again and again and again. If you pay attention to a child is the perfect example of how a human being learns something. When a child begins learning a song, they don't sing it once, they sing the song again and again and again and again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You do not know how many times I've heard my daughter sing that song. But the reason why she sings it is because she's building the neural pathways. She's learning the ABCs through song, through art. We learn the world around us through art, through songs, through stories, through movies, through TV shows, through games that we play. And in the act of doing that stuff again and again, hearing those stories, listening to those songs, singing those songs again and again, we build the pathways that create the world and the beliefs that we want to have in our lives. So that's how you replace the thoughts, how you stop the intrusive thoughts. Here's the other end. The act of stopping intrusive thoughts, please, everybody, by all means, take this and use this in your life. What I want you to do is I want you to hear the voice inside of your head. Close your eyes for a moment and listen to the voice inside of your head, and just listen to yourself thinking about the day for a moment. What did you do today up to this moment? And as you hear yourself talking about all the stuff that you did during the day, I want you to imagine like a panel, like a control panel in front of you. I want you to turn one of the knobs and hear the voice begin to get higher and higher pitch. Where instead of talking here, it's talking here and then going here and here as you turn it. And it goes higher and higher to the point where it's like Alvin and the Chipmunks, where it's super high pitch. Then take the dial, turn it in the other direction, and then hear the voice go really low and slow. The act of doing this is actually rewiring and giving you tools inside of your brain. This is stuff that I studied for neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, so you could study this a little bit more. But what happens inside of our minds is malleable, it's changeable, and we can shift it. And by practicing moving things around, hey Alex, yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 7 days. I'm gonna post more this week. But I just wanted to do this to get something out there before I make my next video this week. The more that you practice changing the voice inside of your head and the images that you imagine, the more control you have over it in the future. And once you realize that you have the ability to control the speed of the voice, the pitch of the voice, and the speed of the voice and the pitch of the voice, once you realize that you can do those two things, you realize that you can also stop it. Because part of the reason why intrusive thoughts are a problem is because the same neurology just keeps firing again and again. But if you practice turning up the pitch of the voice, turning down the pitch of the voice, slowing it, speeding it up till the point where you can't understand what it's saying, you have more control over it. You put yourself in front of the control panel. You're in control of the voice inside of your head. Once you do that process, it's much easier to, it's going to sound weird, but like disassociate. Like you no longer think of yourself as that voice that comes up in your mind. So another really good tool is once you practice the control panel and changing the way that the voice goes inside of your head, whatever intrusive thoughts are coming up, take a moment and decide, who is this character? What kind of character is saying this? And give the character a name. Because there are many different personalities or identities that we move through at any point during the day. And it's really funny when you deal with your parents, because who you are around your mom and dad is completely different from who you are around your friends. And that's also probably completely different from the people at your coworkers, how you are around your coworkers. And it's very different from how you are with coworkers to like front-facing customers, especially if you work customer service. Who you are to your coworkers is completely different from the person that you are in front of your in front of the customers. And who you are in front of your boss is very different from who you are in front of your other coworkers. So, hey, what's up, Julio? From France. So, Julio or Julio, depends, Julio. Most times it's Julio. That's Spanish pronunciation. Anyway, so you're a different person depending on who you're talking around and who you are. Take a moment, and if you have intrusive thoughts, label that as a character. Label that as a character who's separate from you, like Sad Sally, or like Debbie Downer, or whatever, or Jeffrey. The act of naming this person a character now gives you more control. So when those thoughts come up inside of your mind, it's no longer just let this ride and let this like play. You ask yourself the question, hey, Sally, are you actually useful for me right now? You're not? Okay, I need you to sit down and shut up, because I don't need you right now. You don't need to, you're not running the show. You're going to make a huge problem. It's funny, and it seems delulu, but when you do it, it actually works, which is, you know what's really delusional is sitting down and thinking that you're having thoughts that play inside of your mind that you think you don't have any control over. That's really delulu. I think of it more so as being playful, like a kid. Kids play pretend. Kids have imaginary friends. Kids interact with their imagination way more than adults do. And I think that more people would live happier lives if they spend more time with their imagination. So play, be delulu, have fun, because it's delusional to believe that you don't have control over the thoughts in your side of your head. If you have intrusive thoughts, tell that person to shut up, because they're fucking up the fun for everybody else here at the show. And by doing that, you distance yourself from that, and you actually have the ability to stop the thoughts. And again, the techniques, the only point for the techniques is that none of that is true. It's just that it's, well, not capital T true, but lowercase t true. It works. The reason why I mention it to people is because it works. I've done it. And once you recognize that it's something separate from you, you're like, is this thought process useful for me? No, then shut up. We're doing work here. Shut up. I'm currently busy scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through YouTube trying to learn this stuff. I want to have an ideal relationship. You need to shut up. You don't have anything to say here. Nobody wants to be with you, Sally. Shut up. Why? You don't even go here, Sally. Shut up. And the beautiful thing is you can also create more empowering characters too. And these are all techniques from neurolinguistic programming. And Tony Robbins even talks about this. Tony Robbins will have people assume a new state of being and then choose a new identity and a new name to fit that identity. If you want to be somebody if you want to be in a state where you're going to be fun and wild and passionate, and you want to have, well, actually, if you want to have an amazing relationship, you have to be somebody that an amazing person wants to be with. So what is that? What is that state? Is it passionate? Is it adventurous? Because that's a completely different person than Sally, like Sad Sally. Because Sad, like, oh, I want to be with you. Nobody wants to be with that. But if you're somebody who's exciting and fun, and you're like, yeah, let's go out and let's go hiking. Or, hey, I just heard that they're going to do a Halloween event. Or, hey, we're at the park and I noticed that there's a party over there. You want to go over there and pretend to be two different people? And have some fun. I remember doing that before. It's so much fun. I had friends where I had a friend in college, and we were hanging out at the park one day, and we noticed that there was a party going on at a pavilion, and I was like, hey, do you want to pretend to be other people and just go up there and see if we can get food and stuff? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. So then we pretended to be married. No, we pretended to be engaged. And I think I changed her name to Erica. So she was Erica and I was Jeffrey. I think Jeffrey and Erica. And we were just having a conversation with this family, and we got food, and it was tons of fun, and it was exciting, and it was something new and different, and a little inside joke. And then we had the laughter and the fun afterwards. And it's not like she would have any fun like that with anybody else, because who else is going to be wild enough to do something like that? But it's something that's fun. And when you do something that's different from every other person. The only person that they could have that experience with is you. So of course they want to be around you. Of course they want to date you. Of course they want your number, because they know if they don't have your number, they're not going to be able to have this kind of fun again. So be the fun person. And once you understand what the experience of that passionate, adventurous person is, give that state of being a name. Use your name, whatever version of your name. I remember one Tony Robbins video where he taught this guy who was like passionate, I'm Tony the Tiger, or something stupid like that. But it was for him to be more passionate in his relationship with his wife. And you could tell the shift in difference when he was in that state. He was like, hey, I'm Tony the Tiger and all this stuff. And he had this passionate fire, and it was more exciting. And it's like, oh, of course you'd want to be with somebody like that, because you're exciting, you're fun. Who wouldn't want to be with somebody like that? All right. Okay. So going back. What's my favorite show? I actually haven't been watching shows a lot, very often. But anyway, that was to go back before that. If you have intrusive thoughts, the two main processes I would recommend for you to do would be, number one, to practice the control panel and change the voice, and to label it a negative character so you had the ability to tell it to shut up. And then start the process of replacing the old thoughts with affirmations and subliminals, where you have more empowering thoughts that are available. And the act of doing this again and again and again builds the pattern where your brain just naturally thinks that way. All right, do we have a favorite show? So I haven't watched shows a lot lately because mental diet is just better that way. But if I had to choose a favorite show, I would say I would probably say one of my favorite shows was, on the comedy side, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because that was just freaking hilarious. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. As a writer, huge respect for Game of Thrones until the final season, when they kind of like completely destroyed it. And Peaky Blinders. I really did like Peaky Blinders. That was really good. We would when right after we had my daughter, we'd sit around during dinner and watch Peaky Blinders. It was always super fun. You sound like Bashar when you said permission slips. That was so weird, but cool. Yeah, I love Bashar. And that's where I got it from. That's where I got the term permission slips from, because it's true. Every person that you listen to... Oh, and this is a really good one. Every person that you listen to is a remix of all of the sources and inspirations that they've received. So for me, whenever anybody listens to me, the thing that makes me unique is just the fact that I am a mixture of Alan Watts, Neville Goddard, Abraham Hicks, William Walker Atkinson, Florence Scovel Shinn, Joe Dispenza, Dan Kennedy, which is completely unrelated because he's marketing, but also talks about wealth attraction, because that's one of the things he discusses. And all the other people that I've consumed that are in completely unrelated areas, like Douglas Adams with the Hitchhiker's Guide for the Galaxy. Love his stuff. Stuff is freaking hilarious. Neil Gaiman. I love him as an author. Alan Moore, the guy behind The Watchmen and V for Vendetta. So I'm a hodgepodge of all of these different people. So if you listen to me and things seem new, they're not. It's just me remixing and simplifying stuff that I've learned from all of these other people, from reading their books, listening to their lectures. Manly P. Hall's another one, no relation, but and Terrence McKenna as well. But I'm a mixture of all these different people, because these are all the people that I've consumed. So whenever I talk about a subject, what I'm really doing is I'm just regurgitating all the stuff that I've consumed from all of these different people, along with the style with how I speak and all the other like funny, entertaining media that I've consumed. The style in which I speak and how I look. So adding all that stuff together, I'm gonna sound completely different. I'll probably talk about stuff like Terrence McKenna. I do run on sentences and have very long talks like Terrence McKenna, but my voice doesn't sound like Terrence McKenna. Thank God. If there's somebody that I wanted to sound more like, it would definitely be Alan Watts. Oh my God, I love the sound of Alan Watts. The way the man speaks is poetry. His words flow and they're like a silky robe lining itself across your ears. Oof, so sensual and wonderful. Love that guy. Love his stuff. Please help me manifest my ex. I've been trying for months. I'll pay you money if he does come back. Just watch the videos. you could definitely you can definitely donate and that'd be great, but like just watch the videos, like watch any of the XPAC related videos and do any of the processes. If you want a rundown on how to do the processes properly, check out the masterclass video, which is the only, I think the thumbnail is like me and Neville Goddard, and then Neville Goddard in the background standing in front of a chalkboard, and it says the only manifesting video you'll ever need. Watch that, because it's like an hour and 27 minutes to be exact, and it goes over the entire process of what you're supposed to do to use Neville Goddard's system for manifesting. Like literally, how do you get into SATs? What actually is SATs? Because most people don't understand it. We talk about it, the state akin to sleep, but the state akin to sleep itself is a it's theta, it's hypnagogia. And theta and hypnagogia, the theta waves, the theta brainwave state is where you're like in the twilight in between of being awake and asleep. When you're in theta or hypnagogia, it's usually characterized by sleep paralysis, like your physical body. You do not feel completely connected to your physical body. You feel a certain degree of like wobbliness, and the way that you think has a much more profound effect on the way that you feel. That's why when you're like half awake, half asleep, you're in theta. So when you look across the room, you freak out because you think somebody's sitting in the chair, and then you open your eyes and your eyes sort of focus a little bit more, and you're like, oh wait, no, that's just a pile of clothes in the corner. But for that moment, you really felt fear and terror because your brain thought person sitting in chair, and your body responded to person sitting in chair, even though that wasn't the reality. It was the reality for your body. And that's the difference between theta, is like you have more control over your I think it would be your parasympathetic nervous system. You have more control over the portions of your brain and nervous system responsible for like profound feelings. So you can go into profound states of terror, you can go into profound states of pleasure and wonder and awe and joy, all through the act of thinking and imagining. Because as you imagine in the theta state, it's much easier for things to take on the tones of reality. For Sasha, whenever you have negative thoughts, I simply let them pass. I don't try to fight them or do anything. I just acknowledge it, saying it's just thought and it doesn't affect me, and move on with my day. No need to lose yourself in negative thoughts. That also works too. That process is a very Zen process, because what you're doing is, and that's also what you're doing in meditation, is that you are putting your body into a receptive state where you sit there and you just observe. When you go into the observer state, you no longer put the same type of conscious energy into the thoughts. So one other process that I've used that works really well, that I learned, who did I learn it from? Neti. I think it was some spiritual guru. It might have been an Indian yogi. maybe Dr. Pillai or Sadhguru or someone else. It might have been just a random one. And they were talking about the concept of neti neti, not me, not me. So whenever a thought comes into your mind, you repeat the phrase neti neti, not me, not me. Because whatever thought that's coming up inside of your head, that's not you. And as you repeat that phrase, neti neti, any thoughts, the compulsion, the feeling to get up, you realize neti neti, not me, not me. Why do I want to sit up? Why do I want to open my eyes in the meditation? What is this? Neti neti, not me, not me. If the thought to open my eyes is not me, it's just a thought that's moving through me. Why didn't I recognize that was a thought that was just moving through me? And as you do this, there's a space that begins to exist in your consciousness where you're not up against the glass of your own mind where you think that it's you. You're starting to space out. There's distance, there's calm, because you realize that you do not need to act on the thought. You don't need to open your eyes. You don't need to move. And if you sit here long enough, whatever is neti neti, not me, will fall away. And as you release all these things, you begin to become more and more aware of who or what you actually are. Not like somebody telling you it, but you having the experience of it. Because somebody telling you who you are is completely different from experiencing and knowing who you are. It's like the difference between trying to explain a blueberry to somebody who's never tasted a blueberry. I can explain the texture of a blueberry. I can probably use poetic language to talk about the potency and the sweetness and the tanginess of a blueberry and the texture of it as you chew, and it explodes in your mouth with this flavor that blossoms, but it will always pale in comparison to just the simple act of taking the blueberry and putting it into your mouth and eating it. So when we say to meditate, I'm telling you, try the blueberry. It's way better than any word that I can ever give to you to describe a blueberry. No matter how poetic and flowery my language, nothing will ever come close to the bliss of a blueberry. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're observing the thoughts and you allow them to fall away. So, Bimyan, you actually are using a very ancient Zen and Hindu technique for getting rid of intrusive thoughts, or thoughts in general. So Sasha, I have a limiting belief in thinking it's possible to manifest a specific person I want. I've been okay manifesting SP journey for a while, but I've not been successful at it. This is a self-concept issue. Yeah. Because if you're trying to manifest an SP, that is the issue itself. Because what you're trying to manifest is not the SP. What you're trying to manifest is you in a loving relationship and thinking from being in the state of loving relationship. The self-concept isn't, I want someone, because that's not what you want. That's not the state that you want. That's the state you're in. The state or the self-concept you want to be in is, I am the best there ever is. I am the best possible girlfriend on the planet. I am the best possible boyfriend. I am loving. I'm charming. I'm fun. I'm adventurous. I am everything that this person could ever want. They are lucky. They're lucky that I even know who they are. I am the best on the planet. I'm the best that this person could ever have. They better hurry up and show up. Or else somebody else is going to come up. By moving into that state where you know that you're the best, and you know it, to be honest, the best state to be in is like, I'm in a loving, caring relationship. I'm the best boyfriend, I'm the best girlfriend, and I'm in a loving, wonderful relationship. The best husband. I'm wonderful and loving, and like this is the best possible relationship ever. Once you assume that state that you're in that relationship, the person shows up. If you want to get married, you assume and act like you're already married, like you're already a wife. And then somebody's gonna realize that and be like, damn, that's a wife. I need to wife her up. Because in your head, you're already a wife. You're already acting like it. So, and this is the important thing. From the identity, or the I am of being a loving, wonderful wife, if you're a loving, wonderful wife, would you be thinking about other specific people? No. Would you be waiting for people to message you? No. You would just be like, yeah, he's going to come home later on today. Oh, he'll hug me up. He's going to come pick me up later. You don't think about the key to know whether or not you're in the right self-concept, in the right state, is that you do not think about the world the same. The way that you do that, like the litmus test to let you know whether or not you've changed, is that you look at the world differently. If you're in a committed, loving relationship, every single person that you look at and every single person that you talk to, you're going to talk to and think about differently. You no longer think about another beautiful person the same way. They're like, oh, okay. They're not like my partner. Like, oh, that person's as strong, yes, but not as strong as my partner. I love my partner. If you look at people and think differently, that is a sign that you've changed and you've shifted, and the relationship is already done. You've already attracted the person. You just need to maintain that thought process and that feeling so that you do it long enough for the person to recognize you as that person. Because that's ultimately what you're doing with the self-concept and manifesting. You're staying so focused on that way of thinking that the other person recognizes you and they're like, oh, that's who you are. You're not a girlfriend, you're my wife. That's what you're trying to get a person to realize, is like who you are. What is the character that you're playing? And you play that character long enough in your head, in your imagination, that wherever you go, people automatically know that you're that character. Like, I guess another way of putting it would be like, if you walked around like Beauty from Beauty and the Beast, Belle from Beauty and the Beast. If you walked around like Belle from Beauty and the Beast and you acted like Belle everywhere that you went, most people would probably not think anything of it. But what you're waiting for is somebody to recognize that, wait a minute, is that a quote from Beauty and, are you playing Belle? That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for somebody to notice that you're playing that character. The only thing for most people is that you don't usually dress like the character, so it's harder to tell. But like if you were playing a character, most people, the right kind of person will notice you playing that character, and they'll be like, and the right kind of person that you're looking for is somebody who's like, oh, my Belle, and they decide to be your beast. That's what you're looking for, and that's what you're waiting for. Somebody to recognize that you're playing that character, and then they play their part. You play your part long enough for somebody else to come along and play with your improv. They're like, Belle, what are you doing here in my castle? And then you're like, oh, yes, that's exactly who I've been playing. Thank you. And then you play a game of pretend together for the rest of your lives. It's a loving, caring relationship. I think that's a really good one. I actually might want to make that one into a full video. That's a really good one. I might have to play around with the examples to find a better one, but I think that's a good concept. What do you guys think? I agreed. I miss watching your videos. I guess I gotta post more now. Yeah, I posted a video last week. It's only been a week. It's been 7 days. I guess I gotta post a lot more because people want to. I love your videos. I've been trying to manifest my S for months. Your videos are super helpful. I'm glad. Keep watching them. Keep commenting. Citrina, this is amazing advice. Thank you. Really worked for me. Yeah, well. Delulu, Alexander with the Delulu stuff. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me I need to get some Asian cuisine. Yeah, go for it. I love Mediterranean cuisine, Asian cuisine, Thai cuisine, Pakistani food. I have a cousin who's half Pakistani. She actually recently got married. Sadly, it wasn't a Packy wedding. It was a regular old wedding. I was disappointed. What do you think about regulating your nervous system? That's what all these techniques are. All these techniques are for regulating your nervous system. The problem is most people are never taught how to properly regulate their nervous system. So all the things that I talk about, all the techniques and everything else like that, is ultimately learning how to regulate your nervous system so that your nervous system is in a state of homeostasis and you're vibrating or feeling good most of the time. Like, you feel good now. If you wanted to, you could feel good now and feel as good as you possibly can. If I had to boil down all the lessons and everything I teach, it's just do what makes you feel most passionate and most excited, because excitement is your body's reflection or your body's interpretation of the vibration of you moving in the right direction. Do what makes you feel exciting and feel good now, and always feel better. That is your only goal. If you just do that, everything that you want will fall into place. But for people, they always have all these things that they're focusing on and thinking about that give them excuses to feel bad or not to feel the way that they want. So they need a whole bunch of different like performances and rituals, which are like just pieces of performance art that get people to change how they feel. But ultimately, all you got to do is just feel good. Control the way you think and feel good. That's it. And if you really want to regulate your nervous system, go outside and touch grass. Stand outside barefoot. Get sunshine. There's sunshine outside. If you ain't getting enough sunshine, then congratulations, you're successfully being a cave person. Says the former reformed caveman. Because if you really think about it, buildings are just really nice looking square caves. We take the world and then we like rearrange it and then throw some glass windows on it. Nah, you're just still sitting in a cave. Go outside and touch grass and get some sunshine. Go outside, touch grass, get sunshine, eat better food. I'm not the best example for this right now because I'm currently eating Panda Express. Not the best food. But I just wanted something quick for lunch while I talk to you guys. But eat better foods. Eat more fruits. Eat more organic food. Drink water. Make sure your water is filtered. Stop eating fast food and ultra processed foods. If you do, just eat it very minimally. Most of the food that you consume should be whole foods. Do body detoxes, because you probably haven't detoxed a lot of stuff out of your body. Heavy metals. Get a colonic. Do all that kind of stuff. Heavy metal detox, candida detox. Do detoxes. Deworm yourself, which is very funny to talk about with American people, because like people outside of the United States do it on the regular, especially with their kids. Like if you travel in Italy, they always do deworming cleanses for their kids, especially if they travel. That's what they do. Like it's a normal thing for most places in the world to do those kinds of cleanses. It's, for some strange reason, it was never made an American tradition. So like when people who are American or from the Western world talk about it, it's like, wait, what are you talking about? It's like, no, that's normal. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to clean and cleanse out your body. You clean your house, you shower your body. Why haven't you done anything to clean the inside of your body? You think it just naturally just keeps itself clean, especially if you're eating garbage all the time, drinking, smoking, eating ultra processed foods, fast food all the time, and so, for some strange reason, your body's supposed to cleanse itself out? No. Go to the sauna, sweat stuff out. You need to sweat, use all your body systems. Sweat, go eat good foods, get body detoxes. Best detoxes are stuff with like herbal remedies. So research that stuff. You can research Dr. Sebi if you want. There are tons of herbalists. You can get Chinese herbs and go to a Chinese herbal medicine place if it's around, or search that stuff online. But like there are tons of herbal remedies for like a lot of stuff that people need. Just do that. And then your body will, that's actually part of the reason why people struggle with manifesting, is because their bodies are just like, your bodies are just full of a bunch of stuff, bro. Your body is, it's like a machine. Your car is dirty as hell. You'll maintain a car, but won't maintain your body. And then you're wondering why the car doesn't run right. It's because you haven't fixed it. Go fix it. Go clean it up. Go get it maintained. Will you upload this Q&A? I mean, yeah, I guess it uploads automatically. I think it uploads automatically. Pepsi Elliott. I haven't heard of Pepsi Elliott. Pepsi Elliott and Abraham Hicks, of course. Bro, have you noticed most people actually want to manifest their specific people? Yeah, I have. And it's funny because you can manifest a specific person. The sad thing is your specific person may not be like the ideal person for you. Like, just imagine this for a moment. Do you remember your first crush as a child? Take a moment. It shouldn't take long for most people. Remember your first crush. Imagine if you had to marry your first crush. Just imagine that for a moment. Your first crush, you had to marry them. Or one of your first crushes as a child. That would have been very weird. Especially for me, because I liked a lot of people. I liked my teacher, Miss Pam. I had a crush on Miss Pam. Miss Pam must have been in like her 30s or her 40s. She was married. No, she was Miss Pam, so she wasn't married. But that would have been weird. So just because you have feelings for one person and you think that it's that person, doesn't necessarily mean it is. You could be correct and they could be the perfect person for you, but you might not, and that's not a problem. You deserve to, what you deserve is you deserve to be with someone you love, who loves you in the way that you want to be loved. You deserve to be with somebody who you're attracted to, who's attracted to you. You deserve to have a passionate, loving, and wonderful relationship where it's wonderful and everything that you could have dreamed of and more. That's what I believe everyone should deserve. And everyone should be focusing on gaining. This may end up bringing the person that you imagine, but it may bring you somebody better. And the reason why I do ask people questions about their specific person to gauge whether or not this is the case is because it's the person most of the time is supposed to be a symbol, kind of like the letters, the symbols in a book. The symbols in a book aren't a representation of the actual like thought or thing, but it's a reflection of it. And is there a sign? I don't see any signs around me. Like cross-walking signs, the simplification of a person walking across the street, that's not an actual person. You understand that that's a symbol of a person and it's supposed to represent something. So you don't take it literally. And it's funny when people take it literally and like act kind of like the guy on a sign when hopping across the road in the awkward position with the arms all like funny and stuff, like hop, 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 hop. Because we know it's not supposed to be literally, you're not supposed to literally move across the road like that. It's supposed to be a symbol that represents walking across the road. In the same way, your specific person, most of the time, and I say most of the time, because it's not always the case. Sometimes the person is the right person. Most of the time, the person is a symbol of what the relationship is supposed to be like and the type of person you're supposed to be with. And the whole reason why they exist in your experience is just to give you a symbol so that you can create the imagined reality in your mind and produce the feeling of what you want in your ideal relationship, and then drop the image and drop the symbol so that you allow whatever the true reflection of that feeling is to show up in your life. Because if you hold the feeling of being loved and being passionate in a wonderful and amazing relationship, the person in the relationship will manifest. It has to happen. If you insist that it is this person, you sometimes hold yourself away from getting the thing. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the experience to move like a circle through, actually a square through a round hole. You're trying to shove a square through a round hole. They're trying to push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. But it's like, no, this is not the shape. The whole point is to be a symbol so that you understand it's like, hey, I either need a square hole or somebody to give me a circle so that I can put the circle through the circle hole. It doesn't have to be this person. This person is just a symbol to give me something to imagine so that I create the feeling, and then I drop, and this is what the law of detachment is, you drop the image and hold the feeling so that whatever the representation of the feeling is shows up in your experience. And your eyes are open looking for whoever fits that part. I had one client where the way that we would describe it is she didn't have a specific person. She had specific qualities. And we refer to this as her life partner, or LP. So what we would talk about was not a person, we would refer to LP energy. So when somebody came into her life, there were tons of people in her lives who demonstrated LP energy. And what she was looking for was the person who consistently embodied all of the elements of LP energy. So every person became a candidate, and what she was looking for, she was casting the right kind of person who was the person who just had more LP energy than anybody else. So instead of looking for a specific person or an SP, she was looking for an LP, her life partner, the life partner energy. So we would have conversations where it'd be like, oh man, I had this conversation with this guy, and we started talking about this kind of work and all this stuff, and it was major LP energy. It was totally LP energy. Hey, how he came over and took care of me when I was sick. He bought me soup and all this stuff and drinks. Major LP energy. It was a major LP moment. I felt so taken care of and supported. And the beautiful thing was, for her, it didn't matter who was showing up, because she was getting exactly what she wanted. What she wanted was somebody to treat her in the way that she wanted LP to treat her. So every time that those people came up, she was like, oh, this is amazing, this is wonderful. So every day somebody else would come up, but it would be an embodiment of LP energy. So she wasn't looking for a person, she was looking for the energy of being supported and loved in the way that she wanted. So every single time it came up, it was manifesting in multiple people. One point it would be a friend. At another point it would be a girlfriend who would come up and help her out. Another point it would be somebody else. And every point it was just somebody who is embodying LP energy. And here's the powerful thing: when you are able to articulate that, somebody will hear about this stuff and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to play that part. Your job is not to force somebody to take the part or force somebody to play this character that you want, which would be like your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Your job is to be very clear at the type of character you want to play in this life, and then just pay attention to the people who show up who are demonstrating that energy, that LP energy. And that was great for her, because then she was able to get LP energy all the time and see it pop up multiple times and see it pop up in multiple people, and realize that, oh, if I maintain my LP energy, the person that wants to continue playing this along with me will show up. And there is no disappointment there, because it's an opportunity. It's like, it's a little fun little play, and she gets to have fun no matter who is there. And then soon one person will show up who happens to be the person who embodies all the energy, and you're like, you're the character. Just like with Johnny Depp being Jack Sparrow, you're Jack Sparrow. Like Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man. It's like, hey, all your other characters were great, but you are Iron Man. You are exactly who and even Stan Lee told him, is like, you are exactly what I had in mind for the character. The Robert Downey Jr. was quite literally Iron Man. In his real life, he was Iron Man. That character was him. The redemption of Iron Man was the redemption of Robert Downey Jr. By the way, if you haven't heard of his story and all that stuff, it fits perfectly. It's beautiful. It's lovely. What word are you saying? Personally, 83. What word are you saying? I have no saying in life. I don't understand your question there. Restate your question, Sammy Vance. Oh, Sammy Vance already left. Is Neville Goddard the end? Like, out of all the occult stuff, it feels like he's the end to me. Can't find anything that tops him or New Thought authors like William Walker Atkinson, Charles Channel. He may be the end for you, Styx Hen. Part of the reason why we have many people talking about all these different things is because every person just needs a different. Sometimes people just need the same thing stated in a different way, or just from a different person for them to finally like get it, for it to click. And he may just be the top for you, and that's fine. As long that was the point for him being there. For other people, he just talks too old and too flowery, and he just isn't a good example, or he's okay. A lot of his examples are just the older, and there are a lot of modern things that simplify this stuff, that it's much easier to understand now. And the whole point is just to find a teacher that clicks with you, so that you're able to consume the stuff and live your life that way. As long as you live your life that way, you're good. That's all I care about. If it works for you and it's Neville Goddard, great. Then it's Neville Goddard for you. Read Neville Goddard. If it's somebody else, then listen to them. I have 2 questions. What is an SP, and what do you consider? What do you yourself consider manifestation to be? So an SP is a specific person. So if you want a specific person, or you want the universe to manifest in this person's form and shape in your life, because that's actually what you're trying to do. You're conjuring the form of this person's name. You're like, hey, universe, take the form of universe, take the form of Sarah. And then the universe is like, as you wish, and then Sarah appears. And acts in your life, and is your girlfriend. Or take the form of Sam. And the universe takes the form of Sam and moves and converses with you and interacts with you in the form of Sam, or whoever your person happens to be. But yeah, SP is your specific person, the specific person you want inside of your life, usually referring to like a crush or an ex, or somebody along those lines, somebody that you want to have a relationship with, somebody that you're interested in exploring more. Because that's ultimately what we want to do, is we want to see the unfolding of the universe that happens to be this person. We want to biblically know them. Manifestation, what I consider manifestation to be is anything that exists inside of consciousness, because everything is the imagination and is consciousness. So anything that exists in your consciousness is manifestation. So when we talk about manifestation, it's the taking of the formless universe and giving it form, taking the unmanifest and making it manifest on some level. And the place that we have the most power and most energy is consciousness, the mind. And if you're able to be conscious at that level and create from that, create from the space of your imagination to impress images and to say words and thoughts that you desire and will to be true in your experience, then you're using the facility of manifestation. Because everything that comes afterwards in this physical universe, or the 3D world around us, is merely a shadow of the imagination. And that's not even me, that's me and all the other teachers, from Neville Goddard to Neville Goddard to William Blake, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and all these other philosophers. They all believe in the same thing. I am of the same vein as them. Oh, why are you not pushing this so much? Not enough time. I mean, I could post more. I also do I do one-to-one sessions and have one-to-one clients. So I do spend time doing that, and then I run my marketing consulting agency. But I'm pivoting to just focus on just this. This is like where most of my energy is going. What's your advice when we wobble a bit? Stop. I say that funny and jokingly, but I mean that, like, stop. If you're wobbling, number one, just stop. Don't do anything. Sit in the feeling, sit in the thoughts, and realize that you are not those thoughts. And you do not need to continue thinking down that road. You ask yourself, do I want to create that reality? No. So then I stop, take a moment, take a breath, close your eyes, Breathe. And make a choice of how you want to feel and how you want to think. And every time that you wobble or move in the wrong direction, if you take a moment and you breathe and you stop, you give yourself the space to make the choice, and it becomes easier every single time that you do that. Yeah, I love that. Go outside and touch grass. Yeah, go touch grass. Keeps, honestly, thinking about going vegetarian, I'm in a higher vibe and easier to manifest in the state. Yes, it is 100% true. This is going to sound a little bit weird, but you're supposed to consume the sun. We're supposed to consume pure energy. We're supposed to consume the sun. The problem is most people don't believe that you can survive doing that. So because of that, you have to consume as close to the sun as you possibly can. And the closest thing that you can eat, like as close as you can eat the sun, would be eating plants and vegetables, herbs, and fruits. Because they photosynthesize, they take the sun and they make it into like a physical form where you can like consume it. So if we're trying to talk about like eating energy, it is the highest form of food that you could possibly eat under like energy food, because you could do energy process and have like energy food. That's why you have people like yogis that can survive and persist and exist without having to consume food, because they have learned and understood how to draw sustenance from like the latent energy in the space around them, which is possible, and that's why there are people who do that. And for most people, because of their belief systems and their level of spiritual development, they don't believe that that's possible. So if that's the case, then just don't eat meat and just eat fruit and vegetables and herbs, and you should be fine. You can eat animals. It's like, as a general thing for like manifesting and spiritual development, eating less of it is definitely better for the body, where most of your food being consumed should be fruits and vegetables and herbs, and you should be good. And nuts, I guess. Nuts and legumes. As a European, I've noticed that, hold up. I've noticed the difference between Americans and Europeans. It's interesting. Yeah, there are tons of differences between the two. And I noticed that with like my clients too. And that has to do with art. All of these different cultures are ultimately built, and they're different because of the art that they consume on a day-to-day basis. So they believe different things. And think that other people are weird for other things. Like, for instance, what kind of food is acceptable to eat? You go certain places, in America, it's like beef, cow's great. But you go to India, no, you can't be doing that. In other places, it's okay to eat horse. But it's all just like a matter of like cultural things. In certain cultures, it's okay to eat certain animals. Other cultures, it's not. Like if you're American, we talk about doing stuff like eating dog, completely off the table. People are going to think you're absolutely insane. But if you go to certain other countries, it's like, well, Fido looking kind of tasty. Not condoning that. But it's just a matter of culture. It's like in America, it's just very normal for people to eat cows. And it's so normalized that people don't even think about it. But if you go somewhere else like India, you just can't. It's not a thing. They just don't do it. And it's just a matter of culture. And some things across cultures are the same. Other ones are not considered the same and considered weird. Like also in America, pork. Other parts of the world, they're like, no, we ain't even touching that. Or shellfish. So like lobster and shrimp. Some cultures are like, yo, bro, no, don't even touch it. Like, what are you doing? Vegetarian diet helped me manifest too. Yeah, it does. Two things that really do help out a lot with manifesting is consuming like less animal products, because you're not, part of the reason why is because you're not consuming a lot of conscious material or emotions. Animals have like emotions that flow through the body, so you're taking on that emotional energy, which does have an effect on the body and your ability to manifest. Plants are conscious to a degree, but it's not to the same degree as animals. So you're not imposing that kind of fear or any of the other like experiences on yourself, which is a very like high level thing to talk about, but most people feel uncomfortable discussing that because nobody wants to think about their food and feelings that their food feels. But it's true, it happens. I remember when my aunt caught a duck and she was like, yeah, you can't kill it if it's like scared, because like the fear messes with the flavor of the meat. And I'm like, Jesus, that's dark. But I was like, no, she's used to killing animals and eating them. So like, most people are disconnected, especially if you're not in the farm life. You're disconnected from the suffering of the animals. I don't say that everybody should be vegan, but it helps to be more vegan-ish. Oh, not vegan, vegetarian-ish than others. It automatically uploads. So yeah, that's what I thought. It was a character from Disney Channel. Hell yeah. Also, I noticed that people struggle with manifesting specific people because they don't change the story. They tell themselves about like they cheat, lie, but they want me back. Yeah, you got to change the story that's going on inside of your head. If you want a person to be with you, you got to think of yourself from the state of your ideal relationship. Like, what's the identity or what's the character that you want to be that this person will naturally like respond to. I agree with whatever you said, but is it actually possible to manifest them just to know them more? I mean, to be honest, that's exactly why you want to manifest them. You want to know them more. You want to know them. You want to experience them. Why do you want to be boyfriend and girlfriend? Because you want to know what it feels like to kiss them. You want to know what it's like to kiss them in the morning. You want to know what it's like to kiss them at night. You want to know what it's like to sleep next to them and have them like scoot back against you. You want to know more of them. That's ultimately why you want to be in a relationship. You want to see more of this person. What would this person be like as a mother? What would this person be like pregnant? What would this person be like as a father? What would this person be like as a husband? What would this person be like on a Tuesday night after coming home from work, being super tired, but still loving up on me? Like, that's ultimately what you want. If you really like think about it and like push it out in the future, like that's what I want. It's not just that I want this person. I want to know more about how this actor would act in these circumstances. I want to know how they would feel in bed. I want to know. That's ultimately what you want to know. You want to know more about them. Biblically. And if you don't know what that means, search it up. Do you suggest dating other people in that case? I've dated a few people and go out often, but what happens when you can't get SP off your mind? Is it possible they manifest you? Yes, it is possible. But the thing is, whatever way or state that you're thinking about them is the same state that they're thinking about you from. So if you're trying to long for them, they're going to manifest the other side of it where they're like, ugh, why does this person seems like they like me and they have a crush on me and I'm not like into it. But if you think of yourself as like somebody who's amazing and wonderful, then you're going to manifest them being like, oh yeah, of course I want to be with this person. This person's great. I don't want to miss out on them. And I don't think the word dating is good because that kind of conflates a lot of things together. I think people should court other people and spend time around them and get to know them and see if they're the right fit in terms of like the character that you want as like a long-term reoccurring character in the sitcom of your life. I was doing a manifestation routine every day for an SP. However, one day the desire just vanished and I didn't feel the need to do it anymore.